lot of videos coming, so I'm not exactly sure where this one's gonna fall as far as what I've done or not done. Might be some overlap, but I'm to the point where I've started this engine. It idles great. I put it in gear. I'm getting all the forwards and reverses. I haven't taken it on a test drive yet because I want to get more stuff in there before I do that. But I am to the point that I can get the AC system going and charged. If you're going to do this on your own, I know I went through some of the how to make the lines before and the crimping tool. You're going to need to get yourself one of these manifold sets. I got mine off of Amazon. I can likely put a link in the description. There's a lot on there about this, but one of these lines goes to your high pressure, one goes to your low pressure. It'll be clear which fits where because they're different sizes. Then you're going to need to get yourself a vacuum pump. This is the one that I've gotten, or that I got off Amazon. I did my Datsun 510 air conditioning this way. All these parts worked fine. So what you need to do when you're after you put together your AC system is you need to evacuate all the air out of there, or vacuum all the air out. So that is the vacuum pump for that. The other thing is that the vacuum pump, basically, you're going to want to get as close to 30. That's pretty much zero vacuum. So you will vacuum this thing out for, some people say, an hour, half hour, whatever. I guess the longer the better, potentially, because that's getting rid of all the air that's in the system. And that's what you don't want, because air has moisture. So you do that for quite a while, and then seal things up, and then you can leave the system so that it's holding the vacuum. If you come back in, I don't know, a couple hours, overnight, whatever you want, I suppose overnight's better, then supposedly the system is all sealed. Now, that's kind of true. When I did my Datsun, unfortunately, it was sealed for vacuum. I left it there forever, and it was totally fine. And that's before I realized that the crimping tool mark wasn't, I might have mentioned that before, or I did mention that before, that the crimping tool mark was not accurate. And so I had leaking hoses, and those leaked only under pressure. They did not leak under vacuum. So just because your vacuum readings are good, that doesn't mean everything's great, but it's another step. So that's just a little update on that. So we ran into a problem. This is the AC connection to the compressor. And the only way that it fits with the hoses is like this, with these ports pointing down. Unfortunately, you can see that the lips on this do not match. And the way it's supposed to go on the compressor is like this. But if it goes like that, you can't put the hoses on in this particular LS1 because it goes straight into the exhaust manifold. So I'm going to get some TIG welding experience. I'm going to use a bandsaw, and I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to seal this up. I'm going to drill holes here and weld these back on and hope I don't screw things up. So here we go. Okay, so there's the 2 holes drilled. So now I need to make a plate out of this stuff. It's gonna fit. I'm just gonna make a big plate that goes over this. So pretty excited right now because finally got everything I needed together to do the AC. And you might ask why I have an AC can in a bucket of water. Because it's fairly cold out here and it's difficult to get AC to the cans to go in if it's cold outside. So if you fill a bucket of water with hot water, it creates a temperature differential that basically forces it in. So good news is here's my manifold gauge set. There's plenty of stuff on the internet about how to do this, but I got this for the 510. Got my trinary switch, so that thing comes on or kicks the fans on when the AC needs it. And the compressor works. I got that wired up. I was kind of worried if the engine would have some issues idling when the compressor came on because I don't have that hooked into the ECU at all. It doesn't seem to matter at all. So AC's pressures are looking pretty good. This needs about 2.5 cans per vintage air. It's working on its second can. We'll go check temps right now. So when you're doing this, you can put a thermometer into the outlet temps. Here somewhere, I think. So 44, which is pretty good. It's not great, but the other thing is, I don't have full charge in there right now. So we got another can, the remainder of this can, and then another half a can, and we should be good to go. I will wait and, I'm going to talk over here. I will wait and let the AC system sit and see if we have any leaks before I go with the dash. But I think I'm good. I think I learned lessons on the 510's AC, and I'm happy everything is going like it's supposed to right now. So we'll wait for that other can to go in there. I did start this with my new intake hooked up for the first time. It didn't want to stay going with the map way at the end. I don't know why. It seems to be running great with everything hooked in like this, so I might have to figure that out. But AC was honestly one of the biggest things I had left, and that's looking pretty damn good right now. I actually got a scale for this, which is the proper way, because you can tell exactly how many ounces are going in there. I put 24 if it was full cans. I had to bleed a little, so I said 23. That means per vintage air I need, they say 28.8, so I'm rounding to 29. That means when this little thing hits 10.8, that I am going to close it and call it a day. So I'm unable to use my bucket of hot water because the scale only reads to a pound. I would recommend getting a scale that's more than that, because with the equipment and everything it'll zero out. But I know it's going in because I can see the weight decreasing. So we're just going to go with that and have some patience until it gets to 10.8. Alright, so I'm actually going to drop this thing on the ground. One problem I did notice when I started it up was starting in reverse, which this car is going to do till I figure out something about that. But I didn't have the shifter in the right spot. So I did a little bit of work on that. Now we're putting her on the ground. Psychological reasons, if nothing else. Yay! Alright, so it's the first time it's been on the ground since I started all this nonsense. There it is. I'm going to take that stuff off the top. I'm going to back it out. I'm going to wash it just because, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I might be shy on transmission fluid, but I'm going to try and back the sucker out. It should be the first time it moved under its own power. Okay, so we're going to add some transmission fluid. A little update, I'm not sure exactly what video this will go in or anything else, but I did not video it. I did take it out around the block a couple times, and that's about it. I got under there and tidied a few things up. I did a few things in the engine compartment here, kind of with the wiring. I need to make a heat shield for the ECU because it gets fairly warm back there. But everything else seems to be a go. I kind of forgot if I filmed it at this point, but I got the AC up and running. I found a small leak in there yesterday, but the fitting was a little loose, so I tightened that up. Hopefully that takes care of that, but I've got enough figured out right now that I am going to move forward with getting the dash in. So right there is all the stuff that came out of the back seat that's been sitting there forever. And there is the dash and the console and under pieces and a bunch of junk. Feels really messy in here right now, but I just got to get going. So there's a little bit of cleaning in here. Carpet's always been horribly dirty in some spots, like that. My friend is really taken aback at how dirty that is, so someday I might clean it. So it looks kind of rat's nesty, but it's not. These go to one plug. This goes to the other plug of the controls for the heat and AC. This is another one. A few wires for the OBD2 port, and then the wires to hook into the dash. So I honestly don't know what this does. I don't really want to take it out of here because it might have a bunch of stuff that I need. I don't know what that might be. I suppose I could unplug and figure it out, but bottom line is I think I'm just going to leave it and run the ducts through. So right now what I'm going to do is like basically kind of get the dash in here and then figure out how I'm going to run the ducting for the AC. Yeah. Hey, so I've taken a break from filming mainly because I just wanted to get this done. And secondly, there's not all that much excitement in putting a dash back in. But this dash is back in. We're working on the glove box area. I actually have run all the hoses to the dash vents, to the center dash vents, to the defrost. The floor is automatic, so I have 2 vents left, and that's not that difficult. I've already run them. I just have to get the glove box in here to see how that's working with those. So I will hook that up right to this connection point, and this one will circle around or up and get to that connection point, and then it's putting some more trim pieces in, essentially. I'll show you what I had to do with the glove box. It would not fit with the Vintage Air where it is and the hoses, so I had this piece fit right there, so I cut that out. Got myself a piece of ABS plastic. I glue that thing to the back side. Totally tell, but it essentially, there's not going to be gaps there, but that's going to look like that. There's enough space to carry anything I want.